go.
Off I go. No, I've just seen that Mallory is obviously selected for a wet tyre today. There is one of the tyre companies out there who's got a green tyre with a black central rivet that you ride on, which has just got a little bit sort of bigger threads in them, and generally tends to grip slightly better in the wet. Rolling resistance may be slightly hampered, but it's certainly when you're cornering in the wet on those tyres is a completely different feel, and he's obviously expecting a wet day.
Well, even a shower, it can help in that regard, can't it? Just how much of a negative impact is that going to have when the road is dry, as it is now? Are we talking 1%, or are we talking less than that?
No, we're talking less than that, I think.
Right, so it's a kind of a safe option that doesn't have a great cost to it.
No, definitely not. Looking at some of the local talents there trying to race with the pro peloton.
Yeah, and why not? Why wouldn't you? And in fact, they've got their local gear on as well. And you can see one of the roads that we were telling you about yesterday. In Holland, when you build a highway or when you resurface an old road, you have to provide a cycleway.
Yeah.
And that's one of them. It's actually tarmacked, it's beautifully smooth, and it's just throughout the nation. It's marvellous.
And by law, you actually have to ride on them. If you're riding a bike, you have to ride on the bike path.
There you go. You can't mess around with the traffic. And why would you? Because you're so well catered for, to be honest.
Yeah, to be fair, a lot of the times the bike paths are actually better surface than what you got on the roads.
Yeah.
So in certain part of Holland, you definitely have to use it. If you get down towards Maastricht and the area of Valkenburg and so on, you can be a bit more liberal with your choice of roads, and you can actually go on the roads a little bit more.
And there you see it on the other side as well. It also respects the routeway. So if you're heading south, you have to be on the right, as we're looking at now. If you're heading north, you have to be on the other side.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like a regular road, except it's only for cyclists. How lovely is that? It's as a Brit, you kind of look jealously at that.
So why haven't we got any of that in Britain?
Well, people say it's a question of space, but the Dutch are also always complaining about the fact that their country is rather crowded. It does have a high percentage of population per square kilometre, but they seem to manage it, and why shouldn't we in Great Britain? It's a real shame that there doesn't seem to be any kind of directive that way. They have the odd little bits and pieces, but you see cycle lanes, they appear for what, a couple of 100 metres, and then they disappear, and then they reappear goodness only knows where. Sometimes they're on the pavement, sometimes they're part of the road, but they're never, it seems, just independent of the road surface. I know before any of you start riding in that there are odd examples, but it's just not widespread enough, really, is it, for cyclists, and to make it a real pleasure. Jos van Enden, who is wearing the green points jersey after finishing second yesterday. Sven Tuft is the leader's white jersey, and the green jersey, which is for the points, effectively the sprint's jersey, passing on to the back of Jos van Emden, who finished second yesterday, 5 seconds behind Sven Tuft, the Canadian, and the Dutchman wearing green then today. And we'll see whether he's wearing it by the end of the day. I suspect possibly not. We'll see. It all depends on your finishing capabilities, and although Van Emden, great time trial yesterday, I think it's Jus Postma they're going to be looking for. Lars Bohm maybe on help-out duties with Tom Leeser, you never know. Tom Leeser, incidentally, don't know a massive amount about Tom Leeser, but he's replaced Graham Brown, who would have been an automatic default choice.
Yeah, it would have been, certainly.
Just not up to scratch, apparently, at the moment.
Well, it is difficult, if you get sick a couple of days or a week before you get to one of these races, then it might not be the smartest choice to actually go and do a race like the Eneco Tour. It's a hard tour, it's a long tour, and generally you do have a few days of bad weather as well. So, he might have just picked a different race together with his team and decided, okay, we're just going to rest you for another couple of days and then take you somewhere else instead.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not besmirching the character at all of Graham Brown. He's a fantastic athlete and a great sprinter, and it would have been nice to see him as part of the Rabobank outfit, but it's just not quite right this time by, and maybe prepping later on. But Tom Leeser is in for Graham Brown here, who wears the number 12 for Rabobank. There, in dead centre of your screen, the Café Creme, as we're kindly calling it, of Futon Sevedo. One of the last views you're going to get of it, to be honest, because it's going to become Geox next year. And 2008 Tour de France winner Carlos Sastre has signed up for the new Geox outfit. They'll be keeping a few of their talented riders from the Futon Sevedo team. I'm not really sure what I've thought about. We were talking about jerseys earlier on, and thanks for your questions in that regard. And thanks to the other questions that have winged their way in. And with 56 kilometres to go, we will be having a chat with you in just a few moments' time. 3 minutes and 5 is the gap now. We've got 15 kilometres to go. I think Mallory's going to go for it again.
Well, I think he's going to have another try, definitely.
Yeah, and why wouldn't
I'd be surprised if it didn't.
I'll tell you something, these clubbers are doing a good job of keeping up.
They are.
56 kilometres, 3 minutes and 4 is the gap now, with Pavel Brut, Albert Timmer and Adriano Mallory up front. At the moment, all the work, it seems, being done by Garmin, although in help-out mode, perhaps some of those further down might start thinking about just helping out a little bit, and I'll be glad of the help. Svein Tuft, incidentally, it's not a Columbia jersey you're looking at, that is the leader's jersey. It's kind of golden accents to the white leader's jersey as we speak. And don't forget, we'll be live each day throughout this Eneco Tour. Used to be the tour of the Benelux countries, although Luxembourg never actually featured, so it's a bit kind of unfair on them, really. So we kind of say it's the Low Countries, although it's only been around for, well, not terribly many years in its current form. 2005 was the first edition. Bobby Julich took that, ahead of Erik Dekker, one of the great old Dutchmen, and Leif Host. Stefan Schumacher, the disgraced German cyclist, is partially responsible, I think, for the fact that the Germans have more or less fallen out of love with cycling recently, and a lot of German sponsors are starting to head elsewhere. Gerolsteiner have gone, of course. Milram drawing to a close, and it's a bit of a shame, really. Then it was Jose Ivan Guterres, who is with us, with K-Stepan, winner in 2007 and 2008. And last year, of course, it was Edvald Bosenhagen who beat Sylvain Chavanel, the great old stager, Sebastian Langeveld, I beg your pardon, the Dutchman, as well. Brief look at a none too familiar outfit, Top Sport Vlaanderen Mercator. We see them occasionally. A sort of waspy outfit in white, gold and black. And a brief time for some light chat as Jurgen van der Waal, one of the lead outs for Quick Step for Wouter Weyland later on. And a brief call. What's this for? We'll find out.
It's probably good just going back to get some bottles or something like that. Or, you know, sometimes they even go back and just have a chat with the team manager in the car and just get a bit of a face-to-face conversation, and just yeah, if the speed is not too high, then generally you do go back and have a bit of a chat and see what's what, and work out some new tactics or whatever.
LD Simpson says weather's great, Magnus is commentating on Eurosport, so life is great. See, it's
fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you, LD. Brief chat here, and not really overly sure what the message has been.
Might be a bit of a change of something here going on. We'll watch. He's going to stop here now. Yep, will change.
Oh, tech car just pulling up as well. Well, quite benign, as you can see from the trees here, and with probably an hour or so's racing remaining here. Oh gosh, the wind jackets, the jackets are starting to be cast asunder here. It really is warming up good and proper out at the finish line. Very, very damp surface, I think, is drying off rapidly as well ahead of them. And well, Eneco Tour, stage 1, destination Rhenen, and for the time being,